wish double XP would never end. Well, unfortunately, we're here at the end of the double XP weekend. I did do pretty good. I got to about 90% of my battle pass. We still got 23 days left in the season, and if you come over here, I mean, there's 2 days until a new event starts, which obviously that means while I'm grinding out that XP, I'll be going up through the battle pass. And it seems like they've been doing it at a cadence of where they have like an event every single week, and obviously as they bring out new weekly challenges over the course of the next couple weeks, I'll have to like dive back in and do those. So yeah, it'll be no problem. At the time of recording this, it's like 8 a.m. or something like that. I don't know. I've been grinding for the last like 4 or 5 hours already. And I believe the double XP weekend goes until 1 p.m. of my time. So I still have a couple hours. I'm probably not going to finish it by the time that this finishes because I still have to, like edit this video and do some other stuff for work. But who knows? I'm so close. I might just get back on and grind because, I'm one of those guys where it's like, yeah, even though I know I could do something by a certain point, I still just like, if I'm that close to getting a task done, I'd rather just grind it out and get it done. Also, yes, I am still working on the sniper. It was one of those things where like yesterday I thought about working on it again, and then I was like, you know what? No, I really don't want to. I spend most of the day playing zombies and Warzone, just trying to like maximize my time and XP because it seems like the battle pass levels up faster in zombies and especially zombies. Like, yeah, in Warzone it goes up a good bit, but I think it's because you spend so much time actually in the match in zombies. Like, I go up anywhere from like 1.5 to like 3 tiers per zombies match. It's kind of insane. This whole weekend has just made me realize just how slow battle pass progression actually is, though, because like the fact that I've been grinding day in and day out, and yet my progression still just, I'm just trickling along through the battle pass, man. I couldn't imagine doing this without the double XP right now. It's just making me realize like how arbitrary and how slow a lot of the progression is in a lot of live service games like this. Which I mean, like, yeah, sure, it's not like you need to grind this stuff out. You could just pay for the pass, or you could just, like just not do it, period. But on the other hand, I still do enjoy the game, and I enjoy grinding this stuff out, because I've said it before, if I didn't enjoy grinding this stuff out, I'm not the type of guy where it's just like, oh, well, I'm just gonna force myself to do this. Like, no, of course not. Like, if I'm not enjoying something, I'm not gonna do it, and of course, I'm still enjoying it. It's just, even I can admit and realize, like, yeah, dude, these battle passes in these live service games, like Fortnite and Call of Duty and all that, like, yeah, dude, they take a long time to get through. At least in comparison to other things, because right now I'm at, like, level 425, and I've leveled up, like, so many times over the course of the last couple days. I don't know, maybe it's just because the progression nowadays doesn't feel as, like, meaningful as it used to, because back in the day, obviously, you had, like, the classic prestige system and weapon prestiges and all these other things in the game to go for, whereas nowadays your rank is kind of meaningless, and the only meaningful progression is the mastery camos. But if you guys have been watching the channel, then you know that I got both Interstellar, Borealis, and all that back in Season 0. Don't mind me, I'm just a boomer rambling and yelling at the clouds. At the very least, I will say the fact that they at least do still have ranks in the game is enough to keep me going. Like, yeah, I'm ranked 425, I'm 25 off from hitting max rank, and we all know with, like, all the other events they'll have going, because all the events in the game basically just seem to be, like, tied to XP. They've had a few tied to challenges, but they kind of just take the easy way out, and they're like, hey, get, like, 500,000 XP, and we'll call it a day. So I'll probably end up hitting max rank by the end of the season, but that's where my issues kind of come into play, because, like, yeah, once you hit max rank, and once you hit, like, max battle pass and everything like that, there's almost this feeling where it's like, dude, I don't even want to play, because then you almost feel like you're wasting your time to a certain extent. It's like, well, this XP and all this, like, battle pass time XP or whatever, because I don't even think battle pass XP necessarily even ties to, like, actual in-game things that you do. Like, it really just does seem to be time gated. I won't lie, there's been a couple matches before where I'm sitting there kind of AFK, just, like, playing Monopoly Go on my phone, like, oh yeah, the next Call of Duty match started, but hold on, and then I kind of get sucked into the whole cycle, and I just kind of, like, move in circles just to make sure I don't get kicked. And there is, like, little to no difference in how much, like, actual progression you make in the battle pass, whether you do or don't do anything. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's time gated. I might be wrong, but even then, the difference is so negligible that it, like, doesn't even matter. Dude, I will never understand how the weather works. I went to bed last night, and it was, like, it was so warm outside yesterday. It was, like, 80-some degrees outside in, like, t-shirts and shorts and everything like that. Dude, this morning I walked outside, tried to do the same thing, and I thought I was gonna turn into a snowman. Nothing will ever beat the temps that I saw back when I lived in Pennsylvania, though, dude. Like, looking at my weather app and having it say that it feels like it's in the negative degrees outside, it's just that's not right. It shouldn't be legal for it to be that cold. And on the other end of the spectrum, living in Florida, seeing temps go up to, like, almost, if not surpassing 100 in the middle of July, that should be illegal too. Woo, level 18. Honestly, I'm just trying to get this thing max level. What do we have? Level 18 out of 22, just 4 levels to go. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I forgot to mention it, but I did end up going ahead and getting Borealis on the BP50 yesterday. I still got to do the Ram 9. I also finished up the Ram 7. Like I said, it's one of those things where it's like, I've been trying to keep up with it, but sometimes some things slip my mind, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got Interstellar on that one. Oh wait, I forgot to do Borealis, and I have to go back and do that. I have to do it with the Attack Evolve area, so I'll probably just grind that stuff out later to finish out the battle pass. I'm not sure if Shipmist is replacing Shipment for the rest of the year, but honestly, I wouldn't mind if it did. This probably isn't a hot take, but I like Shipmist more than Shipment. I mean, A, it's original to this game, and B, I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. I've gone on record saying this before, even though I don't like the cold, I love snow. I don't like being in the snow. I don't like walking through the snow. I don't even like being in an area where it's snowing because that means that it's like ultra cold outside. I just like the look and the aesthetic of snow. Like, I like watching movies where there's a lot of snow, or playing games like Mafia 2 where there's a lot of snow, or, you know, at least in the beginning of that game. I like playing GTA Online during, like, you know, the winter or Christmas time when they have the snow in that game. I don't like the snow in real life, though. That being said, yeah, that's probably part of the reason, at least why I like Shipments more. Just the snowy aesthetic, man. It kind of makes you just feel, like, somewhat calm on the inside, even though, you know, you're running around in this crazy environment where everybody's just, like, slide canceling, bunny hopping, jumping, 360ing, shooting you, and stabbing you in the face. Woo! There we go, tier 91. What am I even working towards? Like, what are the tier? I remember looking at this at the beginning of the season. Okay, so I'm working for the Tac Evolve Air Blueprint, Shade Skin for Ghost, which actually does look pretty wow, that black cell one does look pretty cool, but I don't know. I do like that black and blue look. I mean, they both look equally amazing. And then we got the Savina skin for Warden, which it's funny how the black cell one actually looks exactly like the Nemesis one that I already have, except that one has gold, and the one that I have is just like, it has like the white flaky effect. Yeah, this right here. I don't know how to, well, I was trying to show it to you, but then the game started, so never mind. But it's got like the white like sparkles or flakes on it or whatever. I don't know. I use those skins a lot, actually. I think they look pretty cool. Well, we're on meat, which means it's time for a beatdown. Interpret that how you will. Level 19, the pain is almost over. Don't get me wrong, I love sniping, and this sniper is pretty good. It's just, it's really slow. Like, you know, even with all these, like, I have that new, like, aftermarket laser on it or whatever that's supposed to make it crazy fast. I have no stock on this thing. I have a shorter barrel. I have iron sights, and even with all that, like, this thing, it is just so dreadfully slow. I could help an old lady across the street, a 10-day bingo game at a retirement home, do a blind playthrough of Persona 5 Royal, and only then would the sniper finally be and like aiming down sights. Persona 5 Royal is an amazing game, by the way. If y'all haven't played, like, even if you played Persona 5 Vanilla at launch like I did, it's worth diving back in for Royal. Persona 3 Reload was a freaking awesome as well. If you have Game Pass, Persona 3 Reload is on there. I highly recommend that game. It's unfortunate that they didn't include the answer from Persona 3 Fez, but I heard it'll be coming later as DLC though, so I mean, there's that. It's just, you know, it's kind of unfortunate that it wasn't there at launch. It's sort of like the same thing with Resident Evil 4 Remake, where it's like, yeah, sure, they could include that kind of stuff as DLC later, but it's just kind of unfortunate that, like, they're holding it off to release it as DLC, like with RE4 Remake, right? Because, like, obviously the GameCube original only had, like, Leon's storyline, but then, like, Separate Ways came later with the PS2 release, and then when RE4 Remake came out, they only had Leon's storyline and then included Separate Ways as DLC later, which, hey, you know, I feel like RE4 Remake more than deserved its price tag. Like, I would have been willing to pay even more for it than I already did, even though I already bought, like, the deluxe edition of it when I pre-ordered it. I'm also biased because RE4 is my favorite game of all time, so I would literally pay just, like, straight up, like, $1,000 for a copy of that game. But it just does kind of suck, because it's not necessarily like they're repackaging or reselling you content, but in a way it almost feels like it, because it's like, okay, we had that it's sort of like when they re-released the Modern Warfare Remastered DLC pack for like $15, even though it was like it was a DLC for the original game, but it's like that content was like at its core already like so many years old at that point. That's a conversation for another day. I'm not going to complain. I absolutely love Persona. I'm just glad that we got another Persona game, even if it is a remake. It's a great remake at that. I'm really wondering what Persona 6 is going to be like, because you know that game's going to be huge. Like Persona 5, I mean, the series was getting bigger and bigger with like Persona 3, and then we got to like Persona 4, and then Persona 4 Golden, with Golden literally being like one of the de facto titles for the PS Vita, which let me just say that place has had a permanent place on my PS Vita ever since it released. It still has a place on my Vita to this day. But with how much of a breakout hit Persona 5 was, we got like Strikers and Tactica and just like all the other spin-off stuff after that, and then we got Royal after the initial like Persona 5 launch. Like, yeah, I feel like Persona 6 is going to be massive. It's probably going to have like its own universe as well. The Persona spin-offs are always just really cool too, like Persona 4 Arena, and then we got all like the Dancing Persona games, which again, I have all of those on my Vita. The Persona OSTs are some of my favorite OSTs in gaming, like literally from any of the Persona games. You can basically turn on any song from those game soundtracks and you're just gonna be able to like vibe to it in some way or fashion, like whether it's be in an emotional way, in a jazzy way, in just like a moody kind of way. Like that's why I like, if you could watch some of my more like casual conversation videos, like the ones that I made recently talking about like video game collecting and stuff like that, like I always use like Persona soundtracks in those videos just because they're so good. And even on like my second channel, WGC, where I talk about gaming news, I always use like Persona soundtracks over there. Or actually in the last couple episodes, I've been trying to switch it up and, you know, put in like other video game soundtracks. Like I put in like some Mario 64 and some like Sonic Adventure stuff in there too. But for a while, I was literally like just only doing Persona music. I apologize for the abrupt cut, and like I'm probably going to be out of sync with the background, so I'll just kind of have the background staying on the main menu for now. My camera ran out of storage, so hopefully I didn't get, like, cut off in the middle of me talking, but if I did, oh well, it's, you know, I talk a lot. Somebody had to shut me up. That match had just finished, and I basically said most of what I needed to say, I think. I don't know. I could talk for hours, honestly, but I guess we'll just kind of call it there. I'm just gonna go back to grinding, and hopefully I'll be able to finish the battle. I can definitely finish the battle pass today. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish before the double XP goes away. If not, I'll grind it out anyway. But anyway, as always, massive shout out, thank you to all the patrons and channel members, thank you to all in the low ball tier, and big shout out, thank you to all the big ball tier, last game, man, in the biggest shout out to all in G tier, run events, and the cheese code. Thank you guys so much, you guys are literal legends. I love you. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.